the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost, and lost literally meant garbage.
If you're missing a piece of the puzzle, you still got the big picture. You're not like, man, I wasted all my time. But who's looking for broken pottery? Nobody cares. I mean, what is this? It's garbage. And it's lost. It's beyond repair.
So I started thinking, okay, so my life is like a puzzle. I really like to do puzzles, and I've had that experience of, getting to the end and there was just one piece missing, and it's like, okay. I mean, I still got enough. I still got the big picture, and so I felt like that wasn't a. I understood what C.S. Lewis was trying to say, and I'm not going to contradict him, but it just felt like it was insufficient, really, to explain why we need Jesus. Because if Jesus is just a missing piece, but I have a nice house and I've got a good salary and I've got a good wife and everything else, then Jesus just enhances the big picture rather than being indispensable.
See, this is what I heard. For years, I heard people say, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, it's like the missing piece of a puzzle. Has anybody ever heard that? It's like the missing piece of the puzzle. Man, Jesus is the missing piece of your puzzle. In fact, there was a really great theologian and writer named C.S. Lewis. And one of the things C.S. Lewis said was that every single one of us has a God-shaped hole. A God-shaped hole. And I really started thinking about this idea that my life just isn't complete without this missing piece, and that I have this God-shaped hole. But here's the problem. If Jesus is just the missing piece of my puzzle, I still got a pretty good life. I mean, let's think about it. Have you ever, you know what the definition of faith is? The definition of faith is buying a used puzzle from Goodwill. Right? Because you start that thing believing that every piece is going to be there. And then you get to the end and you're like, it's missing a piece.
Do you ever get through one of these messages and think, man, I missed some things that I wish I would have thrown in?
Yeah. I think that's the luxury of being an evangelist, is that every message isn't a one-shot, that there are moments during a message when a line will come to you and you'll go, man, that's really good. Like I had this one quote, a lie repeated never becomes true, it just becomes believed.
A lie repeated never becomes truth. It only becomes believed.
First couple times I preached that, it wasn't there. And then about the third time, it just popped in. I was like, wow. Because I think the first time I said something similar to it, it was like, oh, if you say a lie often enough, it becomes true. And then I really started to think about it. I'm like, oh, so the luxury you get as an evangelist is getting to go back to a message and trim it up and, make it tighter No, but I think every single time there's something where you go, I should have said this, or I don't know if that was clear. I don't know if I said that. And that's where you you have to trust God that it's not all dependent on you, that the Holy Spirit is at work convicting people. And there have been times people have come up afterward and said, remember when you said, and I'm like, I didn't say that. But you don't tell them that, but you're like, okay, so preaching isn't a one-man show. It's you preparing with God and speaking with the Spirit.
Here's what I want you to know, that Jesus is not a missing piece of your puzzle. He's not a missing piece of your life, because we can go around and we go, you know what, that guy's really moral, that guy's really nice, that guy has a great job, he gets good grades, he's got a good looking girlfriend, they live in a nice neighborhood. And all of a sudden Jesus just enhances their life. But Jesus is not an add-on. He's not like really nice floor mats, you know? He's not a bigger hard drive. Jesus isn't an add-on to your life. Jesus isn't a missing piece.
The thing that makes me a little bit more emotional on this is because the kid I talked to, I'm handing him off to one of my former students. And to know who that person is and have the confidence and to walk around the altars tonight and see former students praying for their kids, it's just like, these are my children and my grandbabies, and so I thought that was one of the cool moments for me, that I have my former students all over the place, but obviously North Texas has a strong concentration of them, and so that was a really good night for me.
He says, I'll pay back 4 times the amount. And Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save that what was lost. Lost. There's that word, lost.
No matter how long I do this, the altar call is always the most difficult, because you're asking individuals in that moment to respond, and I think that's the part where you've got to be so sensitive to the Spirit. It's like, okay, what's God saying? And as you're praying for students, it's like going, okay, God, what are you saying over? Because I don't want to just repeat the same thing from student to student to student. And so like tonight, there was this moment I'm praying over a student, and it's like God just kept saying, confront the lies, confront the lies, confront the lies. I was like, okay. So I prayed that over, and then I was like, all right, let me encourage everybody, because maybe this wasn't just for one person, maybe this was for everybody. It's like you hear these little things get dropped into your mind. Another story just at the end, one kid, I had prayed for him just during the altar time, and then after our conclusion, he's still up there, just head bowed, and it's just taking that moment where you go next to him and go, are you okay? I mean, it's nothing, no prophetic word, it's just that simple, are you okay? And he just starts bawling, and he's like, I'm so beat down. I'm so beat down. And I talked with him, encouraged him, and the final thing was just saying, where are you from? Do you know your youth pastor? Do you really know yeah. I'm like, can you talk to him? Yeah. I'm like, okay. I said, because I'm not going home with you. And I feel honored and privileged that I get to preach, but the real work is these youth pastors and leaders that are going to hang out with these students tonight and the rest of this week and on van rides and have conversations that were spurred by some of the things that I felt God asked me to say. And so I think that's one of the coolest parts of ministry is helping people in their call.